Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make a night dress. Alright then, let's get into the video. I'll be using 1¼ yard of this soft satin fabric and my chalk, ruler, scissors. I'll be drafting directly on the fabric, so let's get straight into the drafting. First thing you need to do is determine how free you want the nightie. I want mine comfortable, so I've added 6 inches to my total circumferences. Now the clip you saw at the beginning is plus 6 inches, so if you want your smaller or bigger, you vary your measurement according to how you want it to be. So now the folding is going to be the round hip, which is the biggest circumference, 40 inches, plus 6 inches, which is 46, divided by 4. That's 10½. So I'm going to add ½ an inch for sewing allowance, and then I want it to flay a bit at the hem, so I'm going to add 2 inches for that. So I have 14 inches for the folding. Now because this is going to have a strap, I'm going to take out my strap measurement before I start applying my vertical measurement. The strap length is going to be 5 inches. So I'd measure 5 inches and take it out on the tape. So that 5 inches on the tape is representing the length of my strap, and then I would apply all my vertical measurements. Armhole length is 7¾ the bust length is 10 inches, the waist length is 16 inches, the hip length 25 inches, the gown length is 40 inches. So I would mark all of those measurements and draw a line across. Next, I'm going to apply all my horizontal measurements, starting from the round bust measurement. The round bust is 36 plus 6 inches, that is 42. So divided by 4, that's 10½. So I would mark 10½, and then I would mark ½ an inch for sewing allowance. And then I would apply that same measurement at the armhole length. Now for the waist measurement, so the round waist is 32 plus 2, that's 38, divided by 4, that is 9½. So 9½ inches, I'd mark that and then mark my allowance. Now for the hip, the round hip is 40 plus 6, 46, divided by 4 is 11½ plus ½ an inch allowance. I would mark that. And then for the hemline, I want that to be bigger than the hip measurement so that it flays out just a bit. So I added 1½ inches to the measurement I have at the hip measurement and then marked it. Next, I'm going to connect my lines together. So I'll be connecting the hip line to the hemline with a straight line, and then the waist length to the hip length with the curved part of the pattern master. And then I'll connect the armhole length to the bust length with a straight line, and then the bust length to the waist length with a straight line. Now for the base, I don't want it straight, so I want it a bit curved. So I'll go at the edge by 3 inches and then connect it to the center. Now for the neckline, I'm going to use the armpit to armpit measurement minus 2 divided by 2. So the armpit to armpit measurement is 12 minus 2, that is 10. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I'll mark 5 and then add ½ an inch for allowance. And then I'll connect from that point to the armhole line with a curved line. Now you can use your French curve or pattern master to draw this, but I decided to use my freehand to connect the line. Also for the neckline, if you want yours as a round neck, then you can just draw the shape, but I wanted mine straight, so I just left it the way it was. Alright, I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern, and then I'll transfer it to another fabric and cut out the pattern for the back. So it's the same thing for the front and the back, the necklines and everything is the same. Next, I'm going to be cutting out the strip of fabric that I will use to turn the neck. So because my neck is straight, I'm going to be cutting a straight strip of fabric, but if you have a curved neckline, then you need a bias strip to turn it. So I'm going to cut out 1 inch width and 24 inches length for both necklines, both the front and the back. Now to turn the armhole and the strap, I'm going to need a bias cut. So to know how much I need, I'll mark my 5 inches and measure the armhole. So I have 11 inches, 11.5 inches. So I will fold that in two because it's going to go from the front to the back. So I have 23 inches. This is going to be the length of my bias rope for each armhole. So to cut out a bias, you're going to need to cut diagonally across the fabric. So I've drawn my first line and then I'll measure how wide I want it to be. So I'll cut out 2 inches width and 23 inches length in two, so for the two straps. Now to the sewing, I'll first take my straight strip of fabric, which I'm supposed to use to turn the neckline for the front and the back, and then I will iron it. So I will fold this in two and iron it across the length of this strip. And then I'll sew the loose end of the strip of fabric to the neck of the front and the back from the inside. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'll go and trim off the excess, and then I will turn it to the right side and sew it on the top all the way to the other side for both the front and the back. I'd also take the bias strip to the ironing board and then iron it the way I iron the straight strips. Next, I'm going to attach my bias strap to the main fabric from the armhole. So I'm going to be sewing this from the inside, and I'll sew with 1/2 inch allowance from the end to the top of the armhole. And then when I get to the top, I will lock the stitch and measure the strap length. So the strap length is 5 inches, so that's 5 inches for the front and 5 inches for the back, so that will be 10 inches. So I'd measure 10 inches from that point and mark it. At that 10 inch I marked, I'll bring the back piece and start sewing from the top of the armhole all the way to the end of the armhole with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Once I get to the end, I will come back and fold the bias over the fabric. So I'll sew this from one end to the other end, and I'll do this for both sides. If you found this video helpful so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, and turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a new video. And then I'd give it a good press. Next, I will go and sew the sides together. So remember, I had 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So I'll take it, sew the sides, and iron the seams open. And then I will hem the bottom. So that's it for this simple night dress. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section. I'm happy to provide any details you require. Alright guys, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one.